Okay, another one I picked up, another small amp. This one is an eBay find, and haven't had too many Varmints. And you know, I like playing around with little small amps like this, see what they're made of, see what they do. And I got this one for a pretty good price. Of course, I got it, and looks nice, happy with it, but it wasn't working, and had to play with it a little bit. Come to find out, when I first got it, it was putting out 0 power, and the input SWR was super high, and it's got an input tuner. See if I can zoom in, because it's live, I'm not going to get too close. That trim cap right there on the bag is the input tuning on it. And originally when I got it, I could get the input down a little bit by doing the input cap, but not much. And also when I first got it, I always keep this little voltage amp or watt meter. I got it on amps inline, and that's reading you know, how many amps the little Varmint is pulling. You know, right now it's pulling 0.7 amps, which would be about 90 watts if I put it over here. Yeah, about 60 watts, I guess. So anyway, when I keyed it down, when I originally got it, it only went up to like 0.8 watts, so it wasn't pulling anything. And I keep telling people to, you know, check your input SWR, and usually if it's not, you know, pulling anything, the tubes aren't getting hot, that means the tubes aren't getting drive, they aren't getting power to them. And that was what was happening with this one. It was actually the relay. The contacts were dirty on the relay, so just cleaned the contacts and got drive, and you know, got power, and kept retuning it. But again, the two indications of that were, you know, the input SWR. I keep this digital meter on it now. The amp's on and it's working, so even right now I got a 5-to-1 input SWR. That's on Supermod. Let's put it on regular high. It's 1.9, and that's kind of interesting, isn't it? I'm going to lock the mic. That you get 1.9 SWR on a high, and changing it over here to Supermod, it goes up to a 5 on the input SWR. But I kind of know how this worked. The on high, it's a normal grounded grid, you know, amplifier, and it does send the drive through the grids of this. And the other thing is one driving one, which is a really interesting amp. I'm gonna unkey it. But on Supermod, it doesn't. It ungrounds the grid, and it sends negative bias to the grid that mixes with the drive. So on Supermod, that's why the SWR changes when you go from high to low, at least on this model. But when I got it, not only did it have the super high input SWR, and when I keyed it down, the amps over here were not going up. I'm going to key it down now again, and you can see them, you know, go up to 2 amps, you know, which is a couple hundred watts, versus almost standing still when I originally got it. And I knew that's why the thing wasn't pulling anything. And again, come to find out, it was the drive wasn't going through the relay and going to the tube like it's supposed to. So anyway, see if I can turn it carefully with it live. In the back, you got the relay. The small tune cap there is the input SWR. You got a everything's on boards on this amp. You got the high voltage capacitor board there, and the rest of the components are on the main board here. Weird alignment. You got 1.6 kV6 tube on the left, driving 1.6 LF6 tube on the right. So it's one smaller tube driving one, you know, regular size sweep tube, one driving one. Don't know if I really care for that, you know, arrangement. You know, now with modern radios that put out more power, I think that driver tube could be bypassed and just drive the one big tube directly, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna mess with that. It's got a blower for a fan. Big transformer, 150 watt amp. And you also, on the front, you got final load and plate. Basically, it's all plate. It should be plate tune and plate load for the final, but anyway, whatever. What do I know? And also, the bottom left, you got driver plate, and that would be driver tune or driver plate tune. And this knob, when you go on SSB, you can adjust the delay, whether it's a small or large delay for the relay. That's all that does. And it with most amps, most CB amps, all SSB does is add a delay. It doesn't change anything else. On some ham amps, you got, you know, like high SSB and low CW, and they actually change the power and the ratings and the capability of the amp with the you know, SSB CW switch, but not most CB amps. It just adds delay to the relay. Same thing with AM SSB switch. AM is no relay delay, and SSB kicks in the delay pot there. That's, you know, just a resistor going in line with a capacitor for the delay for the relay. And other switch you have is a standby switch, you know, which I was saying that other amp I just posted yesterday, I think, had no AM SSB. It had no standby. It was either on or off, which I didn't like. And this one has a Supermod, so you got that regular high side, and it barely moves forward on RMS on high. And on Supermod, got, you know, some pretty good swing in it. That's when it puts the bias on the tubes instead of the groundless grid. And this is a triode amp. It doesn't have the tetrode or turbo boost I keep talking about, and that's why you need a driver tube. Well, you know, to get the power up, where if it was set up as a tetrode amp, you know, that tube would have enough gain on its own. It wouldn't need a driver tube. And also your main power switch right there. So that's what it looks like. Oh, I did miss one thing. It's got a regular, you know, tune and load, like I said. Also, that trimmer to the right of the plate coil, you know, it's a small screwdriver adjustment sticking up. That's another one of these trimmer caps like that, but it's mounted upside down. So the it looks like that if I had it underneath, but I'm not going to pick this thing up. And like I say, it's live, and that's the well, it would be the bottom side of it, but again, that trimmer is upside down, and that's actually the driver load variable capacitor. That trimmer there, that's to the right of the coil. So actually you get a long screwdriver, and carefully, because you know you got the plate voltage right there, and this amp, it may not quite be enough to kill you if you're in good shape, but it'll put it hurting on you, you know, if you grab that high voltage. So you would, I already did it, but you you know, tune your final plate and load. I use what they use, and then your driver plate, which would be the tune, is that one, and then the driver load is that one, and then your input SWR adjustment is that one. And I'm gonna mess with a mud duct. They kept telling me, you know, the air variable on a Mako was the input SWR. Very rarely see a small or medium amp that uses an air coil like that. Air cap, I'm sorry, I said coil. For the input, that's like overkill. You know, those air variables like that are expensive, and they're not going to use that when they don't need it for the input side of it. So anytime you see an air variable, it's going to be either a driver tuner load or the final tuner load, pretty much. This is a big ham amp, or a big amp. you might need an ear, but not for these small little guys like this. So anyway, I guess that's enough talking. We're going through this thing. I like this one a lot better than I did that one I just did, that little Linko 4 small tuber, and this is 1 driving 1. And we're gonna start on high and going into the dummy load. 200 watt scale, little mud duck Midland radio going into it. So this is on high. It's dead can 80. Audio talking about 85, might hit 90. Well, actually that's 70, maybe 75. This late, listening to about 90. If I tuned it up for max watts on high, I could hit about 90 watts on it, but I tuned it up for peak watts on Supermod, so it's actually not tuned for max watts on high. And I got it on Supermod right now, and we're still on RMS, and we're dead can 30, and this is RMS again, and you can see it swinging to about 50. 45. Audio might hit 50. And whistling, to about 80. Again, RMS. It's not bad for an amp, RMS. And then last on peak, 30. Audio, swinging about 130 on peak. Hello. Audio. Well, so that's gonna be it for my little latest eBay find. This little Varmint XL-150. Bye.